Hey Jack Squad, how's everybody doing? Hope all is well, and I hope you're making it happen for yourself. You got to make it happen for yourself. Um, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm still waiting on those 94 subscribers, right? Like, share, comment, subscribe. All of my social media stuff is down in the description box, as well as my email and my Cash App. Looks like I'm too close. I don't know. But at any rate, email me, Cash App me, right? I still have T-shirts. Make it happen for yourself. T-shirts, okay? They're $20. Email me your full name, address, size, and color, and I will email you back your shipping and handling. And the colors are red, black, and white. And then you Cash App me and I'll send it out to you, okay? That's how that works. New subscribers. I have T-shirts and I always have T-shirts. Today, y'all, I didn't get me no water. Today, I'm going to be talking about something serious, right? Because it's been on my mind, to talk about. And, I've had a few subscribers and friends and so on and so forth to suggest that, right? So I'm going to be talking, this is a dating story. And I'm talking about dating a narcissistic man. Part 2, right? Now, let me tell y'all something for y'all that don't know. I was dating a narcissist and did not know he was a narcissist. I just thought he was crazy. I couldn't figure it out why nothing would change, nothing would get better. I couldn't figure it out. I just said, okay, he's a sociopath. I had come to that conclusion, right? Well, once I started my YouTube channel, like I had a girlfriend that would always tell me that her guy was a narcissist. And I was like, yeah. I'm thinking, really, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm thinking, that's far-fetched, right? Thinking that's far-fetched. This was about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm like, that's far-fetched. Ain't nobody no narcissist, right? White people shit. That's what I'm saying, right? We got enough to deal with, right? So, at any rate, my girlfriend would tell me that about her ex, right? Never really looked into the meaning of a narcissist, right? Had I done that, I would have known what I was dealing with, right? But I never really looked into the meaning. I know they thought big of themselves, and that's about all I knew about that, right? And I'm ashamed of myself for saying that because I do a lot of research, I do a lot of reading prior to YouTube. I look up stuff. I like to consider myself pretty smart, right? Well, anyway, once I got my channel and it was being talked about in social media, I realized what I had been dealing with, right? I realized that. And then once I started researching it, exactly what it is from the clinical standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, I was like, oh my God. My ex was a case study. He had everything. And there's a spectrum of narcissists from low to high. He was pretty much on the high end of the narcissism spectrum, right? And he was older, and so he knew how. Listen, he was an older street man, so he knew how to. Just being in the streets, you know how to manipulate somebody. But being a narcissist, it was times 10 or 5 or something, right? So I was dealing with this, and let me tell you all how I'm going to have a big chapter in my book about it. Let me say this too, that sometimes when I'm writing, it gets too emotional. This morning when I knew that this was what I was going to talk about, I had to take a few hours to myself. I wrote some things out, and then I had to, it made me sad. I'm going to be honest with y'all. It made me sad because I was with someone that was never, ever going to change, and that pursued me with motives in mind and not good ones, right? I was a little saddened this morning, you know what I mean? And I had to take a nap. I never take naps. I'm off today. I never take naps. But I had to take a nap, and I guess that was because it was so heavy. Sometimes your emotions can be so heavy it tires you out. And so that's what happened. So, I was with this person. Like I said, he was a case study. And no one knew exactly who he was but me. I don't even think his siblings knew exactly who he was, right? I doubt that, right? Because it was like a light switch. You could turn it on and off, right? Now, let me First of all, I'm going to talk about love bombing. This is what I'm talking about. This is part 2 of Dating a Narcissist, and I'm going to talk about love bombing. And I didn't know what love bombing is either, so if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Love bombing is to me, it's the first step for a narcissist when they get their target in a woman, as far as a man and a woman. Love bombing is the first step. This is how they get you. This is how they get into your mind. This is how they get into your heart. This is how they get into your soul, right? So, psychologists believe this is a form of abuse. It's a form of a cycle of abuse, and I'm going to tell you about that cycle, right? So, for me, the love bombing, as a woman, you want somebody to do these things. It's like the knight in shining armor. The prince has come. Oh my God, he's here. This is the man of my dreams. That's what it feels like, right? So, of course, you go along with it because they do not show the outward signs of insanity. They don't show that, right? They're very nice. And listen, they're very nice. They're very charming. And so it sucks you in. The charm sucks you in. Now, if you are someone like me who, my last child was in the house, I had been struggling. I've been struggling like any other single parent, right? And so when this gentleman comes into my life, there was never a moment of, I ain't got it, I don't have it. I never felt like I couldn't ask him for anything, right? So it starts with for me, it started with the shopping sprees, trips, just basically anything. I'll never forget, we had one date. The first date, we went to a play at Caramel House. If you're from Cleveland, you know about that. I like plays. Famous black theater in Cleveland, right? Now, the things that we did were things that I wanted to do that I thought he wanted to do, right? And so maybe the next interaction, the next few interactions later, I needed some work done on my car. And I did not really have a steady mechanic. And he called one of his friends. He was very good at this. He wasn't somebody that worked with his hands, but he could pick up a phone and call somebody to do what he needed them to do, or he knew somebody that knew somebody to do what he needed to do. That always amazed me. I prefer men that work with their hands. I like hard-working men, but he didn't do that. He wasn't that guy. He was the guy that's going to pick up the phone and handle whatever business needed to be handled. I like that, right? And so he called somebody. I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. I don't know why this conversation stays in my head. Probably because my mechanic, Junior, became my friend, and he was my mechanic till I left Cleveland for over 15 years, right? And even when me and my ex broke up, Junior was still my mechanic. It never stopped, right? So I remember the conversation. He called somebody. I remember who he called and all of that. He called somebody. He said, hey, what's that guy number? Such and such, the mechanic, ... Got the number. We went to the mechanic, went to see him. Now, I'm used to handling my own business, right? He said, you sit right here in the car, and he went and talked to him. Again. That's what we want as a woman, for a man to handle the business, right? And that's why it gets on my nerves when men say I don't like aggressive women, or men talk about women that are strong. We strong because we have to be, not because we want to be. We don't want to do that. So it was refreshing for him to go handle the business. Now, while he's in there, even though my car needed some work, y'all, I didn't have no money to pay for it, right? So I immediately called my cousin and said, well, he in there talking to the mechanic. What I'm going to do? I ain't got no money. My cousin, who was older than me, said, don't worry about it. He's going to take care of it. Okay. I don't know how she knew, but okay. So when he comes out, he says, I don't know if it was a look in my eye. I don't know what it was. Intuition, I don't know what it was. But when he got in, he said, don't worry about it, I got it. Again, that was all the things that I wanted in a man. Somebody to handle the business, somebody to assist me financially, somebody to want to go where I wanted to go, do the things I wanted to do. Okay? So, and it was every day. It wasn't like on the weekend. See, listen, the difference, and I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again. The difference between dating a working man and a street man, and I ain't trying to offend nobody, I'm just saying what it is, the reality of it, is that a street man has money every day. A working man, you got to wait till he get paid. Just like normal folks, like me, you got to wait till you get paid, and then you make your plans according to your payday, right? With a street guy, they always have money. They always got something going on. There's always some activity. It's always fun. That's why I always dated them, right? So, you know, that was that, right? Every day, I remember I was working, and I had a tragedy, and we'll discuss that another time. I had a tragedy in my life, and I was working as a home health aide, and every day I would go tell this lady, I forget her name now, but I could see her face, she has passed, what was going on in my life. And every day she'd be excited to see me, like, what y'all doing today? Where y'all going today, right? And sometimes I would leave early because we were going out of town, we had plans or something like that, right? It was excitement every day. It was excitement every day, and that is the love bombing. There's never a no, and it depends on their level of money, how much you get bombed, right? I remember one time I went shopping with my sister. We were going to get coats, winter stuff, or something. We was in the department store, and he had gave me X amount of dollars. I can't remember how much, and said to get a coat. And then he called me and said, if you got some money, and this is what I'm thinking he said, because we didn't have Cash App then. And he said, make sure you get the hat and the scarf and the gloves, everything. You always had to get all the things when you went somewhere. It wasn't like, well, I got you can get this. It was always get whatever you want. Get what goes with that. Get this and that, right? That's how it went all of the time, right? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? But let me explain what love bombing does. Love bombing, you're not actually having conversations. You're not actually getting to know the person. It's a shield. It's a cover-up, right? In my relationship, it was anyway, because the conversations that I have with men that I meet now, that's why I'm single, is, oh no. But you have to have these conversations to know who these people are. Like I told y'all, it's an interview process. We didn't have those conversations. Every day was fun. Every day. I remember one time he told me, because I didn't want to be needy. That's prior to meeting him. I never want to be the needy girl, right? Even though I was in need. I didn't call him much. He would call me every day, right? And he told me one time, he said, listen, you got to call me and let me know where you are, so I can make sure you all right. He said that to me, right? I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to never, ever appear to be a bugaboo, right? But later on, the things that he said to me later on the line, he didn't want me to do that, right? I'm calling you calling too much. We'll go into that in the next story. But these are the things he said to me because I'm talking about love bombing. So love bombing is they do everything that you want them to do. Now, is it because he was older, he knew what to do, or because he had more finesse, or because he was truly a psychopath, a sociopath, right? And I'm going to say it's a combination of all, right? I remember he was very guarded with his family, right? Now I learned later that he had never, ever, ever, ever introduced anyone to his family. He never had a girlfriend per se. Now mind you, this man was older than me. He was in his 50s. He never did that. He would get a woman, use her, probably give her a few dollars, and be done with her. That's how he lived his life, right? Until he met me. And I'll go into what happens with that later on in the next story. But the love bombing is what they do. Now, how do you distinguish love bombing from somebody just genuinely being nice to you? I don't know. You just have to listen to them, and you have to ask God for discernment. But I know that I was love bombed. Now, through the year, all while I was with him, I never wanted for anything. But the tone and the words he would say would be different, sometimes. Like I could ask him for anything and he'd get it. If I say I need an elephant, in a day or two, he's going to come down the street with an elephant, right? But the love bombing is, I think that men know that you're vulnerable. You may have low self-esteem. I don't know. I didn't have low self-esteem, but I'm saying all your insecurities, they see and they know, right? And they hone in on it. You know what I'm saying? Mine was I didn't want to ever be broke again. I didn't ever want to be struggling again, right? He knew that. I don't think I discussed that with him, but you come into a situation, you can tell, right? And so he did things to my son. This was my last son. He taught my son how to dress as a young man, right? We would go I had already been doing this, going to the grown man stores, getting good shoes and clothes and stuff like that. And he furthered that when he came into the picture, right? And And he would ask, let me tell y'all this is part, he would be so very, very nice, very, very charming. And I remember the first time I spent the night at his house, he asked my son, who was a teenager, he might have been 15, 16, you know, he was old enough to be at home by himself. He asked him, could he take his mother, could his mother spend the night at his house? He asked him, he didn't ask me, he asked him, and then he asked me. All of those charming attributes that you want in a man is what they portray, right? There's never a no, like I said. There's always something for you to do. Like, he overwhelmed me. He was very overwhelming with things and stuff. Very overwhelming, right? So you really don't have time to think. You're like, oh, I like him. He did this, he did that, he did this. We went here, we went there. It was a lot, y'all. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. And so by the time, for me, it might have been a year. I don't know how long it was before I realized I didn't really know who he was. And when I realized who he was, I was in love but didn't really like who he was, if that makes sense, right? So now I have extensive conversations if they allow me to. If they don't, then it just doesn't go anywhere, because I don't want to be, now he didn't put his hands on me or anything like that, but he was emotionally abusive because he was emotionally distant. But like I said, step one is the love bombing. You know. And if you've been struggling, if you have, you know, whatever your situation may be, and someone comes in and just take over and handle everything, and you don't have to worry about everything, of course you like that. Of course. Especially if he's what you look like. I was very much attracted to him. He dressed well. He spoke well. You know, he had all the things, right? He had all the things, but I didn't see that other side. And in another video, we'll talk about the other side. But I just wanted to discuss love bombing with you, because my girlfriend asked me the other day what is love bombing. And I told her, like, I didn't know. I have done a lot of research on it, because I, for one, was devastated. Number two, I was confused as to why he was acting the way he acted. And then at some point, I realized it wasn't me, it wasn't him. Not knowing he was a narcissist, I was just like, whatever going on with him, that's him. It has nothing to do with me, because I know I'm a good person, I'm a good girlfriend, I'm a good woman, I'm a good all of that, right? Support system, all of that. So it was him. But we'll discuss that in another video. But I just wanted you all to know about the love bombing. The love bombing is real. And like I said, how do you know, how can you tell if it's love bombing or someone being genuinely interested in you and want good for you? That I can't tell you. You'd have to figure that out. I would say that's per situation. You know, you just have to have the power of discernment so you can figure out. Now, for me, I wasn't looking for anything wrong, because everything was so good. Had I knew what I knew now, we would have never got together, right? Because there was definitely a double side to him that was not nice, right? And you never knew when it would come, right? But I do know that that is all a ploy to get you and to manipulate. Let me read what the people say about it, right? So, as a woman, you think this is a great thing. Someone giving you gifts and everything you want, all of your desires, right? It's surprising you every day. Every day is a surprise, right? Now, the professionals say love bombing is an attempt to influence a person by demonstrations of attention and affection, right? It can be used in different ways and for either positive or negative purposes. That's why I said, you know, someone do that and it's a good thing, that's positive, but most of the time narcissists use it in a negative way for negative purposes. Psychologists have identified love bombing as a possible part of a cycle of abuse and have warned against it. And in my case, it was definitely a cycle. And I'll talk about that the next time I talk about narcissism, the cycle. That's what we'll call that, the cycle. It's definitely a cycle, guys. Definitely a cycle. It'll have you so confused. And I'm pretty smart and pretty swift and pretty all of that, right? Now, this is the definition of love bombing, even though I've told you all. The action or practice of lavishing someone with lavishing. That's the word. See, giving someone, that's a gift. I give you this, I give you that. Lavishing is when they really put it on, right? I heard that the other day, too. I was watching a show about con men and how they lavish, right? It's different than just giving. It's more. And he had been a con man, by the way. Especially in order to influence or manipulate, because that's what they want to do, manipulate you. So if they do all these nice things for you, they can manipulate you into doing whatever it is you want them to do or acting. Because you are, for narcissists, you are ultimately there for their pleasures. Whether they like to see you upset, and we'll go into that later because mine like to see me upset. There's the other one. Hold on. Yeah, so that's the love bombing, y'all. And it's, remember the word lavish, because, you know, the average man, unless he's rich and wealthy, and wealthy men can be narcissists too, of course, but it's the way that they give and the way that they do. I remember Christmases and holidays especially, and I'll go into this later, was always a whole bunch of stuff. You know, get all the stuff, all the decorations, get the biggest tree, get all the decorations, get all the food, get all the everything, right? And my ex would do that, but he would never partake in the festivities. And we'll talk about that in another. That's part of the cycle. We'll talk about that in another video, y'all. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of the love bombing. Only because, like I said, I was having a conversation with my friend and she was like, what is that? And I remember when I was told about that, when I read about that, I had no idea what it is either. So I'm just sharing with you guys, right? So anyway, guys, don't forget to, because this is going to be a series of this, just because this impacted my life, and I was with this person for over 10 years and still dealt with them almost until present day, right? So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. All of my social media stuff is down in the description. And y'all, I'm trying my best to do some TikTok. So y'all go over to my TikTok. That's down in my description box. And like a video. I did a couple yesterday. I'm about to do a couple today because I'm off. I'll probably do them on Mondays and Tuesdays when I'm off. Okay, y'all? So anyway, everybody be cool. Stay safe. We got the monkeypox, COVID, heebie-jeebies. Everything's out here. Be cool. All right? Bye-bye.